I want to try the Quattrofoglio.
Fucking beautiful.
Alfie is a WOR race winner.
Jensen makes it 5 in a row.
Danny Berejnay wins on debut.
Shinaka returns to winning ways in WOR.
Season 12 sees a new man. It's Shadow. He is your Xbox champion.
And Jensen is the new king of PlayStation.
From the back row of the grid, against all odds, Nicholas Longy wins the title.
Goes past the safety car.
What has gone on here?
Berman spins, stunning move from the Spaniard.
He's taken out Rambo. Here comes Longy.
We're going 4 wide down to turn 1.
Oh, he's taking him out.
The captain riders complete.
Sonic to the inside.
Shadow wins the Brazil. Absolutely sensational.
Welcome back everybody to WOR Social Races. We're excited once again to go to the PC non-assist social race, and this time we are in Australia. And also, this time I am not alone. To my left, I think it's my left, I'm pointing right in real life, it's Scruff Lord, or Scruffy as we all know.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well. As in my formal attire once again, you know, got home for work, so been a good day. But I'm looking forward to today's race because for you, Scruff, it's your first time commentating on this game. What's your thoughts?
I personally think the game's awesome, and that's a personal opinion on this front, because at the end of the day, they could have made a much worse game than they have, barring obviously the fact that the Steam release was interesting, to say the least. And yes, I was part of the group who pre-ordered it and then had to wait for like a day.
Oh,
so it was good. It's a good game. I personally really like it. The handling's better for controller, so it helps me because I mostly drive on controller. I know some people with wheels have said it's not the best, and there was some bugs with the Fanatec stuff, but yeah. It's a very, very good game, personally.
Well, you talk about the Fanatec, and I'm just going to relate to, because we've all had the first update since launch, and one of the issues they have actually looked at is the Fanatec steering wheel. They've also worked on a couple of bugs already, so I feel, because EA have full reins now over this game, and with such a tight community that we have, the voice and opinions are going to get out a lot easier. And, you know, there are a lot of people who know and know contacts within in EA to get this work done. So I feel Codemasters and EA, I think this might, fingers crossed, it's going to be a bit better than it is from the 21 game. And already I've heard people saying this is so much more designed towards League Racing.
I think regardless, it's still going to be slightly designed towards, I mean, it's the first game since EA are publishing it. And obviously we've got the downside of PC players can't play with PC players because of EA's Origin and Steam integration not being a thing yet. Also looks like we've still got some issues with servers as well, but that was another thing I was going to mention, coincidentally.
Yeah.
But I think the point with this game is they've definitely looked more into the terms of how can we make it as easy as possible to get to certain points. Because, yes, you've got the supercars, but it doesn't feel like they've shoehorned them in and made a massive part when there was no need to. Unlike stuff like Breaking Point, which was shoehorned in. And it just felt like every time you launched the game, it was like, Breaking Point! You had to play Breaking Point. It was just like, this one at least, everything's where you expect it to be. It's the first time, as I say, since EA have published the game. And it shows because I think they've had a bit of insight to the game, or at the very least, they've had some creative input
Absolutely.
of how this game is made.
Yeah, the quality, the visuals, the way it runs. The major criticism I have personally to this game is more the spectator mode, actually, because that's the one I'm going to be using the most. I just feel it might be just my graphics card, but I feel that they need to iron out a couple of visual bugs, but that's so easy to do, and get that ironed out. But otherwise, I'm finding the game personally, I'm finding really solid and fun to play, which then leads on to the handling of cars. New era, new cars, and I'm sure this has been discussed throughout the entirety of social races, both here, other leagues, everywhere. We've been talking about this quite a bit, so it's probably old news, but the cars feel so much different, and they feel quite understeery by nature, and it's an interesting take and an interesting feel, because it's not like the 2020 game or the 2021 where them two were so similar. It is a completely different styling.
Yeah, and it's just, as I say, it feels better on. At the end of the day, it feels better on controller, which is a symptom of that understeer, because it's way easier to run no assists on controller. Like, I could never run no assists last game, otherwise I would have spun myself off into wall. This time I can actually run with no assists, and I'm able to pick up on that. I'm able to pick up on the back end now.
Yeah, and I play on wheel, and again, you know, the throttle control management is a lot nicer. There are moments where the car does spin out here and there, but I think that's just the driver, not actually the game itself. But I feel I'm able to transfer those skills quite nicely. I'm not feeling I'm having to learn too much different, which is quite nice. Other updates about the game, of course, is the new design of tracks. Now, I think we've kind of gone past and missed the point that we're in Australia. We're at the land down under, and we're finally getting to see the updated track, which, of course, if you are familiar with the track updates, there were improvements on Turn 3, Turn 6, Turn 8 is now more fluid and will flow out with no chicane into Turn 9. Exit of the entrance of Turn 11, or the apex Turn 11 has been changed. Turn 13's been changed as well. So there's a few bits to keep an eye out for, and it's going to be quite interesting.
I believe they slightly changed Turn 1 as well, didn't they?
Very slightly, yeah. I think
they widened the corner out, and it was the same with a lot of corners. As you say, 6 through 7 was one of the ones which felt different. 5, absolutely.
Absolutely, for sure. As we're we're getting into the race. I do apologise for the black screen temporarily. Unfortunately, we don't have race intros yet. There we go. In Australia, just to remind you all of the layout of today, it will be a short qualifying. So that means 18 minutes of pure fast pace, get the best lap time out. Then we'll be going into a 50% race with the new rulings stating that you can choose any tyre to start on, no matter where you finish. Now, that rule changing in general, both apply to real F1 and the game, really plays with strategy come the later race. Because we've seen, we saw in the Miami, well, the one I did for Miami, we saw a lot of people either going on mediums and hards, nobody starting on the softs.
Yeah, and it's especially pertinent when it comes down to this sort of races. Do you want that speed advantage, or do you want the ability to go longer than everyone else? And especially, I've never noticed the pit lane being blue in Australia.
Is it blue? It might be just blue. The shadow. It might be the shadow.
That looks blue on my screen. That's weird. What I have noticed, by the way, is if you have weird ghosting, just to point out, if you've seen that, like, you get this weird ghosting line. Turn off DLSS. Anyone in the chat who sees that as well? There you go, tip. But it's a weird sort of graphical glitch that only happens because of the NVIDIA AI thing.
The more you know. There's your tech for today.
What have I got? No games.
First out on track, Ash Best. I don't know if I've butchered that name on from the get-go, of which I like to warn everybody. if I do pronounce your name wrong, please do let me know. I will go through the chat and try and get pronunciations prepared and ready for when the season starts. But please do let me know. There is no... I'm not deliberately butchering them. I am dyslexic.
Just trying to get...
Are you broken something already?
No, I'm just trying to get all of my information up because apparently you can't save presets, which is a... I wish you could do that with the broadcast mode in this game. It'd be really handy.
It would be a lot nicer, but at the same time, it's... we complimented EA for a moment, but it's still Codemasters at the end of the day. They're not going to make it easy for you. So we're seeing it's Ferrari kind of doing the outlap, Ashbest doing his outlap, and we've already seen parts of the track. We've seen kind of the layout, the widening of the area, so particularly here, the wider exit, making it a lot easier to pounce out. What... The question I ask is, do you remember... with a quiz you here. Do you remember the lap time from the previous game?
Previous game? What, the average lap time?
Yeah, I'm trying to really dig hard. I can't remember it.
Oh, goodness. The lap record from 21 would have probably been about 120.
So what are you predicting? If it's around 120, where are we looking here?
I would say somewhere in the region of a... Oof, that's an interesting one. I've
stumped you, haven't you? I've really stumped you.
Yeah, it's... I would expect... I mean, it might have even been 120 currently, so I think it could be... Yeah, that's a stumped one. I would say somewhere in the region of... Yeah. Somewhere in the region of that. Maybe a 125. They're not actually that much slower. The thing is, when it comes to this, they're not actually that much slower.
Well, talking of not being slow, Ashbest has really nailed quite a nice looking lap. Nice and secure, not too much fidgeting from the car, using the curbs where he needs to. We know Ashbest is quite a good driver. I think I commentated it with him last time. It's going to be a lot lower than we're thinking. It's a 117.1. We are completely off, and that has to be the next car to go across the line. Who am I going to capture? Let's have a look. We're going to go with this driver. Oh, I accidentally activated something. My hotkeys are binded to something else. Across the line will start its van as well. As a 169 will come in from Danny.
That is insanely fast. I mean, all I should have really done is looked at the lap time I've set on this track so far, which is 118.7.
That is true. That is true.
But it's a case of just... I guess that the thing with the first few laps of qualifying is it's a case of just seeing what everyone lets themselves out at. It's just seeing where they all lap up after the first lap, and then it's a case of trying to predict then who is faster, who is slower, who's got the better line through certain corners. And Ashbest, I'm just watching whilst being deafened.
Slowly deafened. As I'm watching Luca in. He's currently on 14th on our screen. He's putting the purple first. Now it's saying purple first during to the point of the track map. I've realised I've learnt the hotkeys, and they're also bounded to two hotkeys are bounded to the same thing as he invalidates. So I do apologise if things appear and disappear off the screen. I will massively apologise for it. Is that I need to really change up some hotkeys here.
Just going to see who is where. There is a Mercedes coming around to the line. I believe that is Dimitri. Nope, that is Carson Weber into the pits. As Modesta Man is going to come across the line to set a 0.07 off of the fastest lap. Bumping up into 8th. Got a lot of drivers coming across the line here, or they've all jumped to the pits.
Its van is on a lap, just to give you an eye out.
Yep.
Seems to be, from what I've captured, looking to be decent to start off with. And he's I feel with some of these drivers, they're not getting too close round between 8 and 9. That new banana straight as he cuts the corner a bit too much. Risk and reward that chicane from the exit of turn 10, essentially.
Absolutely. It's the same with this entire that corner he's just gone through. Incidentally, is really difficult to nail because it's just so weird. The curb is in a weird place.
Oh, Oscar's spun on the first corner.
Ah,
It's already a bit of drama, but I just want to make a point. The top 10 only, top 11 only divided by 9/10 of a second.
it's absolutely insane. Oh, that was a close pit. Someone just went about an inch from the rear of another car.
And I will apologise to the stream. I'm having to go back to old method as the hotkey shortcut has been compromised by too many other hotkeys. So ignore my little streamer menu because I'm just going to open and close things, and I'm too OCD to deal with things turning on and off.
I think Marcus Stall's about to finish their outlap, already invalidated on the outlap somehow.
Who is... Nobody's really on a lap because Oscar... It's saying plus 13 for Oscar, so I don't think he's actually on a lap as such.
All onto a lap. There we go.
But I've got a Marcus. He's on a lap. It's, oh, that's really cutting the second corner, nearly invalidating that. He's going to be punching, going for something fast. He's not set a lap time as of yet. Taking a bit of a wider line through turn 3. And he's really using these curves. I think Marcus is out for blood today.
Absolutely.
But,
Ooh, wow, that was a little bit sideways going through that corner there. That's not the easiest corner to get right. Heading down to where the previous chicane used to be, of course. That's 8 through 9. He's going past Merc. It's absolutely using every inch.
he's using every part. Like, look how much he's cutting of these corners. Marcus is on a flyer right now. He purpled his first. There's no marker for purple second, so he's not on the edge on there. Look at the exit. He could have gone more, but I feel he's playing safe than sorry. This is looking to be a fiery lap. Around the final 2 turns, keep it nice. 5th gear through that corner. So one thing to talk about is the gearing on these cars are a lot higher. What's he going to do across the line? It's a 1:17.1. So he's attacking, but the attack wasn't strong enough. Somehow, what looked to make... There is potential for more. There is potential for more.
Ooh. Thomas Lamanen just going around the final corners there, almost sideways. I don't know where he's going to end up, but he's certainly not far behind. 1:13.14. He's going to come around somewhere in the 17 or 18s. Bumps him up to 11th.
Decent job. 11th, not bad. Just outside the top 10. You can do a lot from that position. Who is on a lap? Itzvan has just started his lap. And I do apologize. I think we mentioned person in 19th, Primoz? Primoz. There we go. Primoz on his lap. He hasn't, again, he's not set a lap time, which we're getting to the second wave of laps as he sets. Yeah, that was nice. Second wave of laps, and you're in. At this point, you're kind of in you've still got time, but pressure's building on you to get a lap in.
Absolutely. We're about to see what Primoz can set. I think he's going to be somewhere in the mid-17s on this one. Let's see if I'm right.
No!
By 12 hundredths of a second.
Let's go! Hello!
Want to see Primoz get in there.
That's a name I'm definitely going to have to stay and remember. Primoz! What a run by him. Can Jay's on the lap as well. There's a few drivers on here doing their laps. Ash invalidated on his lap. Quick run through. It's Itzvan. I said he was on a lap, and that's a flyer for sure. He puts it third.
The top 3 is separated by 300ths. Top 3 is separated by less than half of a second.
It's gonna be interesting.
That is immense.
It's gonna be very, very interesting. Dimitri, I think that's how you pronounce his name. The Mercedes driver in 13th currently. nearly gets caught up with the Alpine. He is going positive on his lap time, but invalidates. So there was mild improvement, but not enough, to be honest.
Jay is currently on an invalid lap. We've got the other. Primoz is going slow and he's probably going to head into the pits. Yes, he does. Just trying to spot who's running a fast lap at the moment.
Danny in second, running a lap right now. He's just started it, and he almost goes and invalidates. Wow, he's pushing and pushing a lot. It's an improvement, and it would be enough to take pole position right now. 44 hundredths of a second. He is going for it.
This is going to be immensely close. He's just got to absolutely nail the shed. All of the road on the left there, not even touching the grass, which is most impressive. Can he make these corners? That's a perfect cut there. Don't go too wide. That's exactly what you want to do. DRS activation, ultimately important on all of these tracks. You've got to absolutely nail it. He's going to go through this right-hander. You've got to absolutely nail that as well. That's much, much closer than Primoz did, I believe. You've got the yellow flags out in the second sector, but that's no problem. Going round into the final corners. It's whether he can keep the power in the right place so it doesn't spring.
Oh,
and
no!
That's a concern.
Oh, my
Just
God.
as I say it, commentator's curse.
Danny was on for the lap of his life, and it just went wrong on the exit. Most drivers are exiting that corner in fifth, but we saw Danny taking the risk, going aggressive, using the fourth gear. And I think that's what cost him the oversteer and too much rotation, causing him to mess up. That is so unfortunate.
Oh.
Who is on a lap? Who's going to get us next to excited? As somebody's moved up because the order changed massively. Brian Evans is on a lap. He's just started it. The Alpine coming down.
Bryn, yes.
He's down in 14th, 8 tenths behind. Well, 0.8 of a second.
He's running a fast lap or not.
Let's see what it is in the sector time. No. He's down. He's massively down at this time.
He's certainly trying to get the corners nailed.
Is Sergio going for it in the Williams? That's the next one that's possibly going for it. Sergio currently in 5th, still within a 10th of a second. So this top 5 is getting pretty competitive. As that's an Alpine who spun, and I think that might have distracted Sergio because he's just invalidated.
Yeah, he unfortunately cut the corner quite a bit on the chicane for the second part of it, which would explain that.
Massively
So
would explain.
37, who is 8 seconds down. Chio, who is currently on there flying. And, what a save from the 13th place driver, Chio. That was an insane save. Practically sideways. We have Dimitri on a outlap.
Dimitri.
16th place currently, I believe.
Yes. Here we go. Dimitri, the world is watching you. All eyes is on you. As we're going to ride on board, do you want to take it away with a bit of a hot lap? Give us a little talk through it.
It will certainly be an interesting one as we are coming down towards turn 3. Heading around as that sharp right-hander. It's important to get the gearing right. They've widened the track here, I believe, as well, just to allow a little bit more run to the right. It does feel different through this corner, especially with us taking it right onto the line. Heading down into 6 and 7, which is now a lot more fast, a lot more flowing, and heading into the absolutely insanely fast DRS zone, which I still don't get how a DRS zone could have been here before. It isn't anymore, I believe.
Nope.
They've had to take it out, haven't they?
Yeah, they removed it.
You couldn't go this fast. DRS, you'd be in a wall. That's basically touching the wall. Can he nail the corner? Yes, that's not an invalidation, but the lift through that corner might just drop the low, but we're about to see what's going to happen through here, whether he can keep that advantage up. That was slow, but not too slow, as he's going to absolutely aggressively send the car into the corner there. Heading round the final corner, turn 13 through to 14. Can he keep that going? Onto the line. It's a 1:14 currently. That's going to be close, but no cigar currently. That is still the top 7 separated by less than 100.
Oh, we're gonna have a race on our hands for sure with these lap times. I cannot wait to see what we're gonna see. Which is the next driver to push themselves into this top lot. There's still 2 drivers as Javier has gone out of the session as the Haas. I was going to look at Luca, puts himself into 8, so he's just outside of this 0.1 of a second gap.
Just trying to see who is currently running a lap.
You want a lap? No, the leader is about to approach his lap, but Joseph is on a lap, and he's 0.4 up on his time. What is going on? I just caught the glimpse of it. He's 0.4, absolutely flying, and he's nailing these corners.
Where's he getting that?
He's lost a bit of it now. I don't know if I caught it right, but I swear that was a 0.4.
You did. I saw that as well. 0.4. Where is he going? I guess you can gain quite a lot in the first corner. So we're going to see where he is at the timing markers when he next comes through. That's a purple. He's still 0.1. That's still insane.
Oh, no! Oh, Joseph! No! Not what you want to see! The leader up on his time. It's not by much. It's not a 10th like Joseph was, but he is up on his time. Both Alfa Romeos are further back on the lap. I wonder if you want to keep an eye on both the Alfa Romeos while we keep an eye on the leader and see what the leader can put in. Luca is retired. Dimitri is retiring, so they're done for today's session.
7th place, Sergio coming round to the line. Where's he going to sit on this positioning? 3rd place for Sergio. That's bumped him up even higher. Then we've got the Alfa Romeos currently on their laps.
The Aston Martin rounding the final corner across the line. Is it an improvement? Is it going to be devastating? It's going to be a miracle as he's going to put a 10th ahead. Who is next to cross the line out of the front bunch? It's Danny. He is improving, but nowhere near to the same manner of our pole sitter. So I don't think it will be enough for him to take it.
He has to cross that area by the first corner at about 109. He's at 109. And
Oh,
spin.
no!
That's pushing it just a bit too hard, but we've still got Istvan, remember? Who is crossing it at roughly the same point on the timing sheet. Can he keep that straight? Yes, he can. This is going to be an interesting dive to the line. Will he be able to at least get into second even? Will he get to first? Yes, he will! He's taken an entire 10th off him!
Wow! That is manic! It is manic! It is crazy! This is what I want to see!
Right up until the end of that race, everyone was within good hundredths of a second.
Absolutely. What a qualifying from this lobby. Wow. If you're not excited in the chat, you need to get a rain check because I am pumped for what will come. It's Van coming out of... He was pushing. He was so pushing. And it does beg the question, what could have the likes of Joseph and Danny done if they got their laps in?
Blimey.
What a qualifying. I look forward to the race.
Now we wait for the cars to head back to the pits. Or just keep doing laps, I guess, as well. That also happens.
Yeah, that also works.
There we go.
There you go. On your screen, it's Van taking pole position, and well deserved. These drivers finding tenths and small amounts of time every lap. Every lap they do, they're constantly improving, and it is amazing to watch. It's Van will take pole, followed by Premos. I've already forgotten how to pronounce his name. Primoz, sorry. Takes second. Danny will take third. Sergio holding fourth. Joseph, unfortunately, takes fifth. Marcus takes sixth. Dimitri takes seventh. Cordonigro? I don't...
Whatever his name is.
Yeah, whatever your name is in eighth. Luca in ninth. Jay in 10th. Ash Best in 11th. Modesto in 12th, Oscar in 13th, and Italia in 14th. And then, unfortunately, the rest of them lower.
Because the game decided, no.
No, we are not allowing you to do that.
You are not allowed to see lower than 14th place.
Absolutely not.
As we now go into the race, and it's an interesting one. I do like how they've gone slightly more realistic with the actual tracks, rather than just, going, let's just copy the specific curb from this track over every one.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just for the viewers, please ignore the screen temporarily while I try and change my, see if I can get the controls a bit better. Distract them.
So you can actually use the
Yes!
key bindings for the positions.
Absolutely. Where are they? Because there is a way. There is a way. So I think they just overlap. I think that's all it is.
Yeah, it probably will be. As we're currently waiting just for the cars to get onto their formation lap, which of course you now have the formation lap, which allows you to form up on the line.
Yes, of course. It's quite a nice kind of way to get put the game to edit change up the game. Fixed it. I did it. Sorry, overexcitement over nothing.
Looks like we've got 2 alphas in first and second. What seems to be going on here?
I think Primoz. I've already forgotten.
Yeah, it's not an easy name to remember.
Yeah, I think he's just not launched at the same time, and I think that it's a little bit of a hiccup. I don't think it's too major. But let's see what tyres these guys went on, and the large majority opting for the mediums. The only people not will be Sergio in 4th and Joseph in 5th.
That is an interesting one. It does look like they're going for first stops. I mean, it's interesting to see when all these cars stop, because the hard tyres will be able to go for longer, but they won't get as nice sort of lap times to begin with. It's a lot harder to heat up those tyres. Even in Australia, with the temperatures that it has, it's not the easiest. So most likely what will probably happen is they'll have a one stop for the mediums. So going from mediums to the hards and then running them out to the end of the race. And the hards, I would not be surprised if they took them a very long way and either then switched to mediums and did the opposite way round, or if they actually went all the way and went for softs.
Yeah, that would not be surprising. What lap is going to be the question I'm going to kind of ask is, what lap are these mediums going to come in? And in my eyes, I want to say 14, 15 is when I'm going to see them. I don't know what you're thinking.
Just a quick question. Have you adjusted the game audio? Apparently someone's mentioning that it's very low.
Very low? Ooh. Oh, someone spun in front of me just as I did that.
Yeah, I just spotted that. That was, I believe, a Ferrari. Potentially Ash? Yes, that was Ash who spun. As they're all lining up on the line, Istvan wanting to cover off that Aston Martin. He's set himself pointing slightly to the right. You can see him as a perfect example from Danny's camera as we are about to start this race. There go the lights. We're watching from the back of the grid on my end. Yeah, we've got 5 red lights away. The drivers go into the first corner. I cannot see it properly. Istvan making a great move back across. Pretty much going at the back, and we got the cars really close to the first corner. And that's an Alfa Romeo taking the grass. Which is interesting.
Yeah, Danny not getting the best of runs, and he's dropping back massively, and he's going to get into the whole rear back. 3 wide, 4 possibly going through turn 4. They are really pankering down. Look at them. They're still going through these sections as they are trying to tussle for positions. Marcus has gained a few positions. Joseph having to fend off his teammate. And still further back, you can see Dimitri. He is falling down the grid as of now.
That's all the cars currently locking into a sort of line, which is going to happen in the first lap, but that's still insane. We've got Dimitri pushing back on Oscar further down the grid as Dimitri is trying his best to get past that car. That's a slow corner car. I will not be surprised if there was a warning there for the Ferrari of Oscar Drain. So currently just the 2 cars at the front just pulling away. Primoz and Istvan.
Yeah,
pulling away.
Very handy to do. You need to get away quite early on in the race, so you're not caught in that battle. But it seems to be that Danny is trying his absolute best to close that gap because he's got it under the second. But we're watching Marcus because I feel there's an overtake going to happen here. As look at that line. That is such a beautiful line to look at. when they're all bunched together.
Absolutely. There's so many cars running around, and here comes Marcus trying to make the move. There's already a 3-second penalty, probably for track limits, as Marcus is going to try and make the move around the outside of his AlphaTauri teammate. Will he make it stick into this corner right here? He's still there. Teammate's still there. And this is proper racing. His teammate did slow down a little bit there. Tiny bit of contact on the rear wing, but we are going to head round into turn 6 and 7, moving on to that immensely long straight. And the AlphaTauri ahead has moved away. Now behind, is anything interesting happening there? We got Luca actually taking advantage.
Yeah, Luca's really pushing because Joseph, you have to remember, he's on those hard tires. He's going for the long run while the rest of the pack behind him, majority of them, are running those mediums. So he's now, Joseph is losing the position and he's trying to fend off the two raging drivers of Marcus and Luca, who are trying their best to get past. But because Marcus is focusing now more behind, Luca is applying more pressure. So Marcus really needs to start looking ahead. Then behind him, whoa! That Alpine out of nowhere. Where is he? Where is he? There he is. Side by side, Luca losing a position as the overtake came into turn 13. Wow! Just caught that in camera.
I do love the fact that Alpine out of nowhere. It's just like, okay, out of nowhere, but with Alpines. Yes, that's all I heard there. And we got Bryn Evans with a 3-second time penalty. Is the Alpine is the ass side by side. Luca not wanting to give that position up without a fight. And he's still alongside the Alpine, and that is just going to take a little bit too much curve, unfortunately. Can't keep the corner that nicely, as that is going to give the Ferrari behind a chance as well. But it's also very weird to see Alfa Romeo's up in first and third.
Yeah, it's a bit different, but, you know, Alfa Romeo and Aston Martin, very different. But, hey, I'm enjoying it. It's all good visuals.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, the leaders ahead haven't really pulled away enough to do anything from there. So, you know, like the Vitslan and Primoz, they had that gap. They've now lost it entirely. But I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see a move very soon between them.
Is the Ferrari of Oscar Drang going from 13th to 12th?
Oh, look at that angle.
And Thomas Lamanen going from 15th to 14th.
We mentioned briefly that some of the new cameras that they've produced on this game is gorgeous, and this is just one of them.
Oh, I've just absolutely nailed a really nice drone shot down the straight it was tracking. Like the spider cams. I love that shot. It's always a great shot to see. I'm going to see. I'm mostly sitting on board because it's easier to spot, as we are currently all sort of drawing apart. Now, the main one will be as soon as they can make use of their DRS properly, because they can already. But we're now going to try and potentially see some DRS strategy, which is kind of difficult to predict.
Just gonna make a point. Sergio in 4th is now a second behind the top 3. So that is quite critical, because now Sergio is the lead train and he's now 1.2. So yeah, he's way off these top 3 who we're currently watching at the moment. So these 3 are now gonna have the freedom to not worry as much as for the drivers behind them. But this man now has to control the field. But that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if he breaks off and runs his own race.
Exactly, as we are potentially going to see some moves down the back of the field with Dimitri battling Thomas Lamanen, as he's going to get the move complete coming into the last few corners. That was a really nice move by the Mercedes. So Marcus Stall is... See, that's the thing with the DRS as well. It's the same this year, is that it's actually got way less effective when you're in a train.
Well, you can run closer to each other, so you're not got that dirty air. It's not flowing apart.
Mistake.
Yeah, it's not working as well. As you can see, Marcus getting ever so close, but he just doesn't have the speed. Now, this could also pose the type of setup these guys are running, because this race, it's their own great setup, and that's the mistake from Joseph. A little squirm, and that's enough, as his teammate will fly past and release Marcus to try and attack Sergio, who had pulled a second ahead. But I don't think this move's over yet, because Joseph is right on the rear end. Also behind him, Jay and Luca also very close. What can Joseph do into turn 9? No, nothing here. Ride it close, because there is another DRS zone going and into turn 11. Can Joseph fight back? he will have to concede for now.
I think Bryn Evans has had a bit of a spin at the back, unfortunately. So you're currently just watching these drivers. This is a fantastic battle between these two Alpha Tauris, but of course you do have the Alpine of Jay Verhagen behind, and you have Luke and Linash, I believe that is. Linash? I don't know. I will take my guesses. As the Haas driver, which is always nice to see. I mean, that Haas is in a realistic place given real F1.
Yeah.
Weird to say.
Yeah. It is. It is a realistic place, but also in terms of his position, he's on the back of this really close quartet, waiting for a mistake, which we've seen one slight mistake will cost you a position. And Luca is in the prime position to pick up anybody's teeter in a way. You know, on those medium tires, he's got the pounce. It's all to play for. But to be honest, you know, I'm more looking at Marcus right now. Marcus is on those medium tires. He's not pulling away from Joseph as much as I was expecting. So those hards still being very effective and a really racy tire.
And here comes pretty much around these final few corners. Is still well within a half a second of Istvan.
Absolutely, and Danny's been keeping up with them. So the top three staying close, staying in a close proximity. And I'm wondering if Danny's thinking about getting a move done here, because essentially these guys are playing the long game. They're not rushing. They're not, you know, being pushy with each other. They're just kind of taking their time, almost respecting each other.
Now the question is whether they're restricting track limits, so we'll see which one of them potentially gets a penalty first.
Talking of penalties,
I did just spot a little bit of an excursion over the track lines a few of the times. There's one of them. There's just a few excursions, and those warnings do build up, and they can attack when you least expect it. So you're going to head round into this fast-paced section. I do love this new section. I always hated this chicane here because it's just it's just unnatural. It doesn't work.
It is. It's way unnatural, and
as Jay is about to make a move on Joseph Loke, potentially to take 6th place wheel to wheel with the Alpha Tower, and he's not quite going to make that stick, but he has got the DRS zone coming up. It's unfortunately a little bit too slow.
He did set a purple. Just to note, he did set a purple in that lap.
He's still catching up. I think somebody's been saving their ERS.
Do you think he's going to launch one down the start-finish straight? Or he's going to launch one down... Wow! There's a flying Alpine out of nowhere as the Haas behind him has just spun Luca out. Oh, he's not out, but he spun and critically lost a position as Jay gets ahead, as we just saw once again of Alpine out of nowhere.
They are just the absolute kings of invisibility, those cars. And there's Jay getting the 3-second time penalty. So we've got Marcus Thal has just made a move. Past Sergio, and I'm wondering whether these hard tyres are now coming back to bite them. Because at the end of the day, you can push those hard tyres as much as you want, but the mediums have now bedded in.
Yes.
And the hard tyres will be slower.
But
the same age.
Yeah, but Marcus has 3 seconds of work to try and catch back up and do something from that. So the damage is already done here. That being said, come pit stops, you have to remember that they're going out on colder tyres. So that Marcus may be looking to maybe try and do something with a front 3. But he's also got to remember, he's got, another 6 drivers behind him, all within a second of each other.
Absolutely. We are coming down onto the finish straight now, and this is a question of who can attack who. All the other drivers seem to be fairly far apart, but you've just got this group at the front now slowly moving away. And Jay Verhagen and Sergio behind with the DRS. And it's whoever can get the fastest part through here, I guess. I'm just going to have a quick look at all of their penalties. So currently Sergio's on a 3-second, Jay Verhagen's on a 3-second, Dimitri's on a 3-second, and the final driver with penalties, Thomas Slamanen, is on 15 seconds.
Ooh, 15?
Yep, don't know where he's picked those up. As there's a DNF for Jernai on the pit straight.
And Tomas. Tumos is retired as well.
Ah. To be fair, they are social racists, but still.
It
happens.
It happens, and you can clearly see that when you're that far back as well,
Yeah.
you're not in the fight, you question yourself, what's the point? Now, if this was a league race in my position, I'd stay to the end because I could pick up some loose points. But it's a social race, what's the point? You know, you're not going to gain much. All you're going to do is be setting laps and be quite bored.
Exactly. With league races, your consistency can sometimes get you points, as you say. As they're very close at the front right now. The field behind seems to be sort of grouping up and falling apart in terms of distances. But we have got Istvan, Primoz and Danny, and it's going to be a case of who wants to pit first.
Absolutely.
Because they are now onto their 10th lap, which is starting to get somewhere towards the pit window. I think we're going to see probably 11 or 12 laps on the tyres, maybe 11 before they pit. We could see them take it all the way to well into the mid-teens.
Might do, and we just have to wait and see. Thing is, the mid-pack as well could be the people who trigger something to happen, as the Ferrari and AlphaTauri are getting a little touchy-touchy, as Joseph is, I think he's fallen down another position, and Ashbets is gained another position, and Joseph has got to look on his rear end as that Williams also is pushing. Those hards, for some reason, are not working right now. You think that, 10 laps in, the mediums will drop off, but they're not. They're not dropping off. They're still going strong, and those hards are failing on him dramatically.
Look at the downforce some of them are running. You can see the sparks kicking off the barge board underneath. It's just immensely close.
Ashbet's pulled a second away. He has pulled a second away from Joseph already. He's dropped back down to 6/10, but he's getting some distance.
Marcus actually, I think, falling slightly back.
I'm just going to bring you to the front as Primoz was on the attack, but his attack failed, which has now allowed Danny to get ever so close. Will the overtake happen? No, not yet. But he did look for it. These drivers at the front now are looking to make the move, so we're getting close to pit stop range, because this is where they're attacking, the last push.
We've got a yellow in the first sector, which is Carson Davis just spun around.
Very unfortunate for him. But it's so easy out of the first two corners. If you don't catch the curb wrong, you don't get it right, you end up spinning. As we're going to drop back down to 10th, it's Oscar. He's looking to do a move on the inside of the Williams. Side by side, there's a driver ahead. Will he deny the overtake? Down into the inside corner. He's going to have to concede his contact. Onto the grass he goes, and Oscar, what looked to be a great overtaking opportunity, fails to work due to some lovely argy-bargy elbows out.
It was 100% clean racing. What I could see from above, that was 100% clean. It was just a case of who kept the corner and who didn't. As they are coming down the final straight now, you've got the DRS open for the Aston and the Alpha behind Istvan. It's going to be it's just a case of who pits first, I think.
It's going to be Cordian. I don't know how to say it. Remember, it's immersive pit stop, so you have to nail it on the dot to get to put yourself in the box. Also, there can be errors from your pit crew, so that is random, and I'm seeing it pop up here and there. So you might see the mechanic not able to take the tire off, so we might see some slower pit stops than normal.
Absolutely.
I just realised something this game can add. A pit stop counter. Especially with the immersive element now in the game, that would be really cool to have.
Exactly. Because you're going to see the cars come round onto nearly the end of their laps, and they're a lot closer than they were before. Danny catching up slightly to Primoz.
We're currently watching at the moment Sergio's closed that gap to Marcus, and he's getting punchy, and so is Jay. So impatience once again is Jay getting a bit squirmish out of the exit, but somehow finding the traction to keep going. I feel to overtake on the start-finish straight, you're going to have to exit the corner about 3/10 behind, and then to mount an attack through into turn 3, you have to be somewhere on the 2/10 on the exit.
Yeah. And the problem is, short of Istvan making a mistake, I don't think Primoz is going to be able to do anything aside from attempt the undercut. And just dive in before him. And hope that he can get the faster tyres, because they'll want to eat these out as much as possible, because you can't take the softs all the way to the end. That's for certain.
For sure, yeah, you definitely can't run the softs in unless you massively eke out these medium tyres, which is a very bold strategy if you're on the hards, though, of which, if you remember, Joseph is, maybe he could eke these out to the softs and play that, because safety car is still a possibility. That is not out of the equation.
I'm sure a lot of drivers would love a safety car right now, especially Primoz.
Absolutely, as none of the top 3 dive into the pits, so they go for one more lap. One driver has taken the gut shot. Remember, Cordian in 12th. He's decided, yes, we're going to go for it. As Oscar in 9th is going to go in for the pits.
First driver in the pits. What tyres is this man going to get? That is hard tyres. As a lot of people apparently are now on hard tyres. So it looks like we've got a medium to hard strategy going for some people here. I would not be surprised if we saw the leaders go for a medium to soft.
Do you really think medium to soft? Do you think they're going to push it that long?
I think they can pull about 15 laps, 16 laps out of the tyres. Which would put them onto a reasonable level for the soft tyres. I think given the speed, yeah, I think they could potentially eke out those soft tyres. It's a case of just figuring out exactly when you pit. That's the problem. They can, it's just very difficult, and it is a very, very bold strategy.
Bold indeed, but how many seconds are you going to lose? Running on a tyre that is worn down, it's going to be not as competitively fast. Yes, you'll get the power and pace at the end, but that's only when you're going to see it. As Danny is going to be... He's not gained onto Primoz, and Primoz is not gained on Istvan. So... at the moment, it's a stalemate at the front. The person who's really getting the closest is this man, Sergio. Not the best camera angle to show, but Sergio 2/10 behind. As you can see, Marcus, he goes and pulls out to defend. He's worried for this lovely Williams driver of Sergio. And I said you have to be 2/10 behind. There we go. And Sergio makes that look so easy as he gets past
really
on the hard tyre as well.
Makes it look easy, it absolutely wasn't. He's going to come around there, and he's starting to pull away very slightly, but those hard tyres do come in handy at some points. So they're currently sticking very, very close together. We've sort of got 2 sort of groups at this point. The lead 3 cars who are all sort of apart. Now we're probably getting into the region where they will start attempting to pit. So who do you think is going to pit first out the front 3? Because I think Primoz will probably try and pit first and try and push them too far on the tyres.
I think it would be the best decision for Primoz. I think it's the best one he can do. The undercut's strong. If you get a good in-lap and a good out-lap. If you don't, though, then the overcut becomes a very, very strong strategy as well. If your tyres are in a good condition to do it. That being said, Danny had a fairly good exit, and he's looking quite pacey here, but not close enough. He just had a very good exit, and that timing board got me a little excited.
Yeah, those boards coming out, which means they're probably being pointed to the pits. Because you don't see them every lap. Because I've spotted that sometimes they don't bring out the timing boards.
I've never noticed that. There you go.
It'll be interesting to see if some of them have pit. I know they change. I know the timing boards change. But it'll be interesting to see when. I mean, I sort of predicted between 15 and 18 laps on these tyres.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were in the region of being right. I said 14, 15, so I was off.
You're also in the region because they could pit now.
Yeah, they could. Well, technically we're on 16 now, so...
I think the smart move for Primoz would be to pit now. He is falling back. I think he's pushed the tyres past their usable limit, or at least in terms of like reasonable levels, but he is catching up within reasonable distance. I personally think we're probably going to see Primož pit in the next lap or so. Potentially this lap.
Yeah, Primož would be dumped somewhere about 11th if he pitted now, of which he still isn't.
Wow. They're pushing these tyres out.
They really are. Who is actually going to pit out of this lot? Like, nobody is.
There we go. Joseph Loke. Into the pits.
Finally, another driver.
Now, let's see if he goes with the hards to soft strat.
I don't think he's...
the hards mediums.
No.
Hard medium.
Yeah, I was going to say he's a bit too far out to do it, but it would have been brave and bold if he had done it.
My goodness, Primož has caught really far up to Istvan. He's within 3/10.
Maybe a little bit of life left on those tyres. The use by date not expired as of yet. He is extremely close, but Danny's following. Whatever Primož does, Danny follows, and Danny looking to make a move down into turn 9. He's going round the outside. This is for second. The leaders battling it out. Through turn 10 we go, and look how close Primož and Danny are. Danny looking to go down and round the outside. Can he hold it as Primož is also attacking and contact? Oh, that is disastrous. But the leaders continue on, and Danny, yes, will gain a position, but a tragedy for Primož. Oh, no.
That's a massive racing incident. As Primož now dives into the pits. Now let's see what he goes for.
Oh, it's so unfortunate. The
What have they got in the
chance for the win.
Soft.
It's soft. Wow.
I did call that. The medium to soft strategy. Trying to pull the tyres out as long as possible. They're replacing his front wing. But we'll see if this medium to soft strategy for the fast laps at the end of the race, because Primož is faster than most people on that track right now.
I'm just trying to look at Danny's wing, and I don't see any damage.
I don't think Danny's got any damage on the wing, no. But neither did Primož have any visible damage, and yeah, he had to get it changed. So we are going to potentially... I mean, they're going to have to pit now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They're going to have to, because they've got to... Well,
who first?
Yeah, but actually at the same time, they don't have to at the same time. Because they've gotten rid of one of the contenders. Okay, not in the most fashionable way, fashionable for us. But there you go, Primož. Oh, 3-second time penalty for him. But yeah, they could eke it out even longer if they wanted to.
Probably going to see no one dive in from the Alphas just yet. I wonder if they're going to push it to 18 laps.
Really, still, a lot of the top runners are still not diving in. This is interesting.
You can start to see the banding on the tyres now.
Ooh,
which is certainly a little bit worrying. You
yeah.
can start to see where they're running those tyres down.
Danny's got some good pace through the kind of from turn 4 onwards. There is some brilliant pace in Danny. We see him close right up to when it was Primož, and then also Istvan. He's got pace around there, and that's where realistically he needs to start making his moves, is around there, because his lap times, his pace is brilliant.
So I would expect a pit here from Istvan for, unless they double stack.
I doubt that. I really doubt they're gonna double
They've
stack.
got too big of a group. I mean, regardless of what happens here, one of them's going to pit and lose out.
Exactly.
We're going to see just who is going to pit here, and that will be that's Istvan. I did predict that one as well. Istvan into the pits.
You're on point. Marcus also in the pits, and Ashbest is in the pits. It was lap 20 for the soft tires, most likely. Yeah. So it's going long, and then power it at the end is going to be the strategy. But out and staying out is Sergio and Jay. As look at this train of cars. There could be very close as they ghost on the exit. So where has this led a couple of people? Itsvan still got that 2-second gap, but Marcus and Ashbets is going to be fighting on this exit as they are extremely close. And I think Ashbets is going to look down the inside. This is for 6th position. He's going to have to go around now the outside of turn 4, but unfortunately those cold tyres not helping. Now Cordian, he pitted a lot earlier on. He's on those hard tyres, trying to make it work. He's up in 8th position, so he might be competitive here as well.
Now Sergio's going to have to stop. I don't think Sergio started on the mediums.
I don't think so.
And that means Sergio will have to stop for the mediums. I mean, Jay Verhagen and Danny Loising cannot run those through to the end.
Danny is in the pits. All top 3 are now in the pits. So we're going to stay with Itsvan. Has Itsvan put in the lap of his life? He's rounding the final corner. Yeah. He definitely has. Because look, he's only just got out of the pit box. It looks to be nowhere near close. Itsvan holds his lead and gains an advantage with it. He's over a second and the undercut works beautifully.
Perfect undercut. That's exactly what you want to love to see, especially team play. That was absolute teamwork. At the end of the day, both those alphas have come out exactly where they were. And Primoz is now up into the 9th position.
It's not a complete loss. Not a complete loss for Primoz. And if this was a full-blown league race, he would get points out of this still.
Exactly.
Not the high end, but it's still
something. That's what we're saying about quitting from league races. Don't do it. Don't quit mid-race because you could still get points.
Plus also, boo to you.
Absolutely. And currently coming round. I mean, if this is the standard of racing just on show in general for WOR, then this is going to be a great season.
Well, you haven't seen the invitational races then.
Absolutely.
They are on fire. They are the fire. They are the boys of the boys. And if you do want to see the invitational, do stay tuned. I will try and find what day it is for you guys and let you know when, as it will be the professional tier 1 drivers racing it out around the streets of Brazil, I think it is.
Now I just want to see a Brazilian street circuit.
Oh, did I say streets of Brazil?
You did. I want to see a Brazilian. I said we're going to see a move from Sergio on Joseph. There's a load of penalties coming in for Dimitri and Primoz, but Primoz is still in 9th. Sergio still side by side, and that's a nice little move to get himself up into 3rd on those softs, which means he is going to be lapping faster than Joseph.
And soft tyres especially as well, so he can try and start to do what he can to eat away at Danny's gap. Taking into account, he pitted, I think, similar time to Danny as well. So that's going to be critical. But I don't think Joseph is done. I think he's wanting to fight back a little bit, but... Absolutely
massive overspeed on that straight.
Yeah, but I don't...
But he isn't straight. Whoa, what a save. That was sideways, practically.
Get the American baseball coach out. Save!
Exactly. We got the Ferrari of Oscar.
Marcus is out.
Battling. Ah, that is a shame.
12 drivers remain, and it's still all to play for. As from 6th, battling for 4th, actually battling for 3rd technically, is getting a bit fiery as Jay is stupidly close to Ashbest, almost shoving that Ferrari down the straight. Not something you hear every day, but the Alpine is not close enough onto the 2nd straight and the 2nd overtaking opportunity.
We're potentially going to see that Ferrari make a move on the Alpha Tauri. So currently coming round into this immensely fast section, which is going to be interesting to see who has the later braking through the corners. This is going to be close.
Absolutely, that Ferrari. I bet it's also the Alpine. These 3 are just eyeing up, waiting for a sniff of mistake. Anything that will allow these drivers to come through. They're closing, but they're not close enough through turn 9 and 10. get a good exit of 10. You might be able to do something at turn 11. Again, that Alpine looking to be sniffing for something, but it ain't coming just yet. He has to wait for turn 1 where the next overtaking opportunity. Unless you're ballsy, you can put it into 13 if you really want to.
They're really close behind at this point, but the only car that's really going to get any advantage here is the car of, well, it's going to be Joseph at this point. Joseph's the only car with a real advantage here because of the DRS.
Yeah, he will have the advantage, but once again, Jay, Ashbets, and Joseph, they're not pulling away from each other, but I'm looking at it. Yeah, I just saw that as well. Jay getting a better exit, and the Ferrari getting squabbly, going to cost him massively as Jay taking the outside now cuts to the inside. RG Bargy other way around. Oh, the Ferrari's making contact, but somehow, no, I was going to say somehow the Alpine was staying, but no. The Ashbets was getting his elbows out a little too much and saying, you're not having this at all.
Yeah, that was questionable, I would say, but again, that's all I saw. That was a very strange one. That very much seemed like he was just pushing the rear right wheel, but completely depends on what everyone else saw as we're coming round into these final few laps. Not many laps remaining now. I doubt Jay is going to be entirely happy about that one.
No, I think there will be a message in the chat going, excuse me, that was my overtake.
Exactly.
Joseph, he's tried a lunge into 13. Sorry to cut you off there. Tried a lunge to 13. Great exit out of 14, side by side down the straight. And wow, that was so neatly done. And Joseph is on the mediums as well. So somehow, the mediums have still got life and still got pace, and they're running well.
Nordengolo is going to get a 3-second time penalty. Lots of drivers at the back with that migrating host. Now, F1 2021 had problems with the migration of hosts. Let's see if that bug still exists.
Nope.
I hope it does. Well, we don't find out until we see a massive amount of
disconnects.
Yeah.
No, to be honest, we've had migrating. We've had one previously. We've been okay, and you know, desyncs have not been major problems at the moment, which I'm glad to see. We're riding and watching the battle between Oscar and Kordorian, however you say your name.
Golo, I think.
Oscar again, just a couple of corners ago, really getting his elbows out. So Oscar's not giving anything up. He's giving nothing, which is a bit questionable when you're racing in League, because I'm questioning some of his moves.
Absolutely, but it was only that one move. He's been racing fairly clean.
Not the bit I saw, but the bit I saw.
Fairly clean. Fairly. But
down into turn 1 they go, and again, Oscar's got a good run through turns 1 and 2, but he just, holding still. I think the Williams also got the good run as well, as Sergio gets a 3-second time penalty, so that's definitely not going to mean that even if he overtakes Joseph, he won't keep it.
Absolutely. Sergio, incidentally, will drop back, I would say, to 9th, maybe 10th.
Talking of 9th, Pritzmo is under attack again by a hard soft compound tyre of the Mercedes, and an overtake done between 8 and 9 on the straight. How are these softs not running well? Because the mediums and hards are going up the field.
Absolutely.
You don't see in the actual F1 much of the drivers running the softs this season. Now, is that a statement to say that they are not a race tyre?
I mean, it's not really easy to tell, especially this early on. I mean, I'm fairly certain we got those alphas at the front, barring any major mistakes. We'll probably stay there, but the main question is whether Oscar manages to get past Nordengolo.
You know, you've said that they're not going to overtake, not going to make a mistake. You've just cursed that now for something
I
to happen.
absolutely have.
There you go. Let's add a bit of
Wasn't
spice.
intentional.
Yeah, let's add a
Definitely
bit of
wasn't
spice.
Oh, commentators know the curse is a thing.
Oscar rounding turn 8, going down the not so straight. Don't think he's close enough really to do anything, but we've been speaking about him a lot, and he's definitely been on the radar for some, one, questionable move, and two, some absolute aggression. You know, keeping on the rear of his other drivers to cause mistakes.
Absolutely, and to be honest, that's a good way of racing. Forcing mistakes out of drivers is an absolutely legitimate way to do this. Just pressure and pressure and pressure.
Down into lap. We've just started lap 28. 2 laps remaining, and it's 2 laps for Oscar to do something. He looks to be closer this time, but is it close enough? Down into the first corner we go. It's not going to be here just yet, but he is ever so close. He needs a good run through the exit, and it looks decent. It looks like a decent run for him. Looking to the inside, the Williams covers off. Round the outside goes the Ferrari. He will have the inside of turn 4, but he's bailing out. Not just yet. He knew that move won't be successful. Keep his front wing and let's not cause too much damage.
Exactly. It's just a case of getting to the end of the race, though, now, because there's not many laps left.
No. Not many at all.
And it's going to just turn down to this N'Golo versus Oscar. Is he going to make the move? Here he goes round the outside into that section of the track. Still side, he cannot make that move. There was not enough space in any way around that corner, and he's still going to be behind him with the DRS. That's going to give him the overspeed. Perfect defending by the Williams, pushing him to the outside of the corner into the disadvantaged position. The Williams just going to get the braking point, but will he get the cut back? He's going to get at least some speed onto the cut as he's going to go round towards the final section of the track. Now Williams having a much better run through those corners as he's right on the back end onto the final corner, and we're coming round onto this part of the track final lap as that Williams is going to make a brilliant move across to the right of the track, just trying to break the toe. Not quite enough, trying to break it again, but all that's going to do is potentially give room, but he's not going to take that opportunity yet. I think that was the Williams saying, here, have some space. It's totally not a trap.
That Williams doing an absolute sterling job. He has been holding off the Ferrari for the last couple of laps, and well done, Cordigio. I don't know how to say your name. We both don't know, but whoever you are giving us a joy, giving us a run. We're going to briefly talk about the front runners ever so slightly. Wait to the end of this straight, not so straight. As once again, Oscar using everything he can to close down the gap. Is he going to go around the outside? No, he's going to go down the inside into turn 9. Oscar still can't make it. He has got 2 more corners to make something happen. Round the outside he goes. Finally,
move,
Oscar has got it.
That's an impressive move, but he's still not over. N'Golo is still on the back end, and all he needs to do is make a good exit to the corner on the final part of the track, and it can absolutely happen if Oscar gets a bit too heavy in the acceleration, but it doesn't look like he has, and I think that is going to be a perfectly executed turn for Oscar to take the 6th position. It's an immensely close race. We do have some battles going on, and there's the penalties being applied.
Wow.
And that, I think, is going to be your final classifications.
It's Van. What a drive by him. We didn't get to do the whole last lap kind of wow for the leader, but it's Van owning this race. He just kept cool, kept control, and just kept it all smooth. You know, people behind him, the drama behind him, so what? I had the lead. That's all I need, and just kept everything in his pace, and well done to Itzvan. Danny taking 2nd, and again, even though the mishap with the Aston Martin, still was able to keep up with the front runners, and it would have been quite an interesting battle if they had got a bit closer.
Absolutely, but unfortunately they didn't, which means we are left with what we currently have. And that is an interesting classification final, which leaves us with first position is Istvan, followed by Danny Loising, Joseph Loka, Ash Best, N'Golo, Oscar Drain, Sergio Sobrino, Dimitri Minic, Primoz Miklovic, Javier Fernandez, Fez Chio, Jevahag, Marcus Toll, Modesto Main, and Luca Linach. I think that is Carson Weber, Thomas Lamanen, Hanai Dovsan, Bryn Evans, and 37 rounding at your top 20. There was a total of 8 DNFs, starting from Jay. Unfortunately got taken out there. But
Quite.
blimey, that's a good race.
That was very, very good. Very impressive. Oh, that's the wrong one. What a race. Honestly, that was so entertaining to watch. And my heart's still doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like genuinely still pumped by it all. Oh. Wow. I genuinely do not know what to say now. I genuinely do not. What I'll do, I'll let you try and talk about what just happened while I find out when our next races are.
Absolutely, and I'm gonna just quickly move out the lobby. I mean, as I say, if that's the standard of racing that we're going to see over the season, then absolutely that will be an absolutely incredible season.
Absolutely.
I need to shut the game down because my room is 33 degrees right now. Because my computer does love to pump out heat, but oh my goodness.
So just for people to know, we've got July 9th, we've got another social race going on. July 11th, we'll be heading over to the Xbox side as it will be the non-assist races going at it again. I'm just having a quick flick through, see if there's any names. Callum G is going to be in there. That's quite a good name. The Slap Bus in there is 2 of the WOR champions in there. Belixi, WOR champion, going to be in the non-assist Xbox. We've got a few big names. Quantum in there as well. We've got a stacked lobby.
Oh yeah.
Yo, non-assist Xbox is stacked. And then of course, if you want to see more of the assist drivers, then July 12th we'll be having that race as well.
Oh blimey.
Any last words about this race? I feel we're ready to wrap this whole thing up.
Absolutely. Insanity is the only word I can describe that race as, but it was good insanity.
Absolutely. I've got to say, what a brilliant race, and what a joy to see the action once again. It's so great to watch, and you know, we were kept on edge. There were moments of brilliance, a lot of fair, clean racing. Okay, 2 mishaps. 2 major ones, but wow, loved every second of it. As mentioned, you know, stay tuned because there is more social races coming up, and it's not going to be too long before we get into the full league racing, which I am definitely looking forward to see.
Absolutely.
Any last words from you, Scruff?
Looking forward to the season. That's all I can say.
Same here. Looking forward to what it will become and what it will be. Stay tuned for more action tomorrow with some more PC racing. But as I mentioned, there is going to be the Xbox side of things on the 11th with some absolute massive names. Thank you all for watching, and you all have an absolutely